Welcome to the Monday Morning Wake Up Call with your host, Kerry, managing broker at RE/MAX Elite, and Heather Holliday, your social marketing nut, talking about hottest real estate topics with a little weekly activity and motivation for the week. So is that too long? Good morning. Happy Monday.
That was awesome. It was a little long for sure. I was like, oh, is something not working? But
well, I told you it was a little longer, trying to make sure you have enough time
to get myself
to get yourself set up. It was first time. So I was like, well, I don't know. But I think it's close to a minute. But at least it gives time. Good morning. Indiana. Good morning, Bill. So I figured give it a try, right? Can't hurt.
Yeah, for sure. I liked it. I didn't get a chance to look at the pictures because I was too busy getting myself set up.
And same pictures. I just have like a longer countdown.
Gotcha.
So a little different, but it's all good.
Gotcha. So we are just back from R4, which is the RE/MAX convention that happens every year. And for the past, I don't even know how many years, it's been in Las Vegas. And this year they did it in Orlando, Florida, like close to our hometown. And that was exciting. So I don't think either of us are awake yet.
It's probably been the hardest Monday ever.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
It's good. It's like you're almost on like a complete high, and now it's kind of, time to get back to normal.
Well, and it's funny, you said it many, many times while we were there, and you've said it in your Facebook posts. It is something that I don't even think we realized how much we needed it, how much it was so nice to be around other people. And we'll talk a little bit about all the safety precautions and everything that they did at R4, which was just, I think they did a phenomenal job. But I mean,
and that's really the first topic is the safety protocols. And I can say, I realized we were pretty much the last in our industry to do a convention, because when we came back the first week of March and everything shut down, like 9 days later. And I still had my suitcase packed. All my swag was still in my suitcase. I had never unpacked it. So I was just able to add in more stuff. But the safety protocols they put in place was more than I ever could imagine, because I was like, I don't know how they're going to do this, but I'm okay. And, but everyone got to pick it was a hybrid event, a true hybrid event. So kudos to RE/MAX, because everything was basically what I'm comfortable with. That's how this conference was. So whether you're virtual, whether you're there, I love they had the different colored lanyards. So mine was green, but you had green for I'm comfortable. You had the yellow where not 100% sure, but I'm okay. I'm here, but proceed with caution. And then the red is like, I'm here, but stay away. I love that everyone was super aware of the color of the badge, because I had all those buttons, of all my tribe, my main tribe, and they were all virtual. And that kind of made me sad to even go, knowing I wasn't going to see them. But everyone did not know how to approach me because my color was covered.
By the buttons, right.
So that's how I realized how much everyone was aware of the color that you were wearing and how comfortable we were. No one knew how to really approach me because they couldn't see. And that's how I realized. And then even the colored tables, like there were more tables.
So normally we're set up just in rows of chairs, like an auditorium. And they did not have any of that. Everything was a round table with 5 chairs at the round table. And the round was big enough for probably 10. So at each table, you were separated, and then each table had a tent card that said green, yellow, red, so you could sit with other people that felt as comfortable or as uncomfortable as you did, which was just, I mean, it was amazing because you look at pictures and it's hard to see the spacing, but the tables were more than 6 feet apart and the people were apart. And it was such a great way to learn, honestly, because when you're sitting, it's great in normal times when you're sitting in the auditorium style, but this way you had a table, you had a place to throw out your notebook and make your notes and take your pictures and do whatever you're doing. It was really, I don't know, I really liked it. I have to say, and
the pictures do not show what it was really like. I mean, in that, because it just looks like we were just like in masses at the conference room, and it wasn't that way. And I do like the tables. I would like to keep it that way because I had a place for my coffee, my notepad. I had plenty of space everywhere, and
yeah. So every morning you had to open the app. You answered the questions, which are the same questions that you get asked when you go to the doctor's office or any place else where you're going in to meet. Even when I go get a facial, do you have a fever? Have you come in contact with anybody with COVID? So you'd have to answer those every day. And then on your phone, you would have this big check mark where you'd have to show them, and then they would take your temperature, and then you would get a button showing that you'd been screened.
And they made sure, because they're like, I don't know where you're going to put it. And I was like, I'll find this place. And they're like, well, that's good. Otherwise you have to, every time you try to do anything. Yeah. And not only that, so you had to pre-register for classes.
Yes.
And I almost had you cover that QR code because I was like, well, it doesn't go anywhere. But so as you entered any class, they only allowed a certain amount of people for each class. And if it was full, it was full. I did like that you could change on the app. You would have to say, I'm not going to this and I'm going to this, as long as
it wasn't
room. Yep. It would not let you. But so your badge actually had a QR code. So before you entered any classroom, you were scanned to make sure you were registered, so that people couldn't just walk into a classroom if they weren't registered for that. I did not know. That's because we were like, well, the QR code doesn't even work on it. What does it do? Let's cover it with a one that works. I did not know that's what it was for. But I thought even that was great, because it's not like you could, normal conventions, you may walk in and be like, oh, that's not the class I thought it was, and just go to the next room. But you could not do that unless you had to be pre-registered. And
the QR code, I don't know if you realize that the person who was scanning you, your picture showed up, like the picture that you pre-submitted. So they, you couldn't
take someone else's badge and stuff like that. And I know that was even the case for the concert.
Yes. Yes. Right.
So you could not just take someone else's badge who may have left. But right. I just, there was just, that's why I thought that's like the first topic, because the photos did not do anything. Of course, what happens outside of the conference room,
in the hallways of the hotel, everybody was masked.
Everybody. I was like, during the whole, I was maybe one or two did not, but right. I was very impressed that everybody in that whole convention, everybody was masked. They took the mask down when they sat down at their little table, but other than that, and even so we didn't bombard all the restaurants. I think they had every food truck and the table set up outside.
Yep.
So that was where you could do lunch, was outside.
Yep, that was a great addition. And they had a limited amount of attendees. So in a normal convention where the hallways are full of people, it wasn't like that, because it was a limited attendance. So it was really the people who felt the most comfortable went to the convention. And, we went back and forth a little bit about whether or not to go. And I'm glad, like you said, I'm glad we did, because it's something that we needed after a year of really being away from live in-person people and being so much Zoom. I've told you this before. I sign up for every Zoom class or seminar I can, because they all look great. But then when they come up, it's like there's not enough time in the day to do all these Zoom meetings. So this Zoom thing has been great, but it also, I think, having the human connection, feeling that, getting pumped up and excited about your business and your industry, which is a people business. So it was just really, really great to be around people.
I think I also realized that no technology will ever replace that human touch, because I'm kind of isolated, just sitting up here in my she shed, but being around people, there's just no replacement for that. And my soul needed that more than I could have ever imagined.
Well, this is funny. So a gal who I'm friends with on Facebook, and we've done deals together before, and she's in our market. She was there as well, and we were texting back and forth. And I said, "Oh, this is where I am. Let's at least meet each other in person." She comes up to me. I had green. She had yellow, and she comes up to me and she's like, "Kerry Ramage," and like gives me the big hug. And I'm like, "Laura, you're yellow." She's like, "But it's you." And I was like, so clearly she needed the human touch as well.
We all did. And just that connection, I don't know, that human connection, the face-to-face. I mean, I've been Zooming all over. I needed that more than I could know. So let's see, when it comes to like the classes, something that I mean, even the opening session and Dave Ramsey.
Oh my God.
I was just an emotional wreck.
I have never seen Dave Ramsey before. I know who he is. I kind of know what his mantra is, but I've actually never seen him or watched him enough. He was phenomenal. He was so good. But let's rewind back to the opening session, because this was before Dave Ramsey, and it opened with, well, first of all, you and me and Candace nobody was looking at each other. Like, I was trying to look at the two of you to see if you guys were crying. Well, while trying not to bawl, but the opening song, and you'll tell it better, but they had, because the people from around the world couldn't come, they had people from all different countries I don't remember what the song is or the dance.
Like that Jerusalem dance thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because normally you have the marching of the flags, which is one of my favorite parts of R4, is when you have the flag parade, and it's all the different flags of all the different countries that are being represented. Last year, I think there were 68 countries there. So this year it was that whole Jerusalem dance thing. So all these offices kind of got together from all over the country, and they made this beautiful video to the song of all the offices. And, I mean, and most of them, like, of course they're wearing the masks, but it's all of these offices coming together, and it was just so beautifully done. I was just bawling because I knew it was just as powerful as the flag, but it was just showing like we're all together. And I don't know, there was just something about that
and then being in the room, look, I'm going to get all ridiculous now, being in the room with other people, with this company that we've worked with for so long, right? Look, I'm an idiot.
It's been all week just thinking about today. I was like,
it was overwhelming.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, an idiot. God, help me.
I think, and that's what, and then, as Adam's talking, about the different leadership and everything that we've, it's like everybody in the room, everybody that was watching virtually, because of course, we're seeing everybody that is watching the same thing. We're all together. It's hybrid. The leadership of what we all did, and how so many stepped up in a time where we have no idea what's going to happen, but we did. Like, we found ways to think creatively and to rise above and to figure out a way to make it okay. And I'm looking around the room, and all of these, amazing brokers and offices and just people that have really stepped up their game. I mean, I love, there's so many different brokerages that had me on as like, for during their happy hour or doing a class for them. And that was one thing that 2020 was able to bring us together in different ways. Yeah. But it's not like they had to fly me out to their office, but it was just a way, we started this show. We started doing the live shows on Thursday for training. Remax
Yep.
immediately stepped up their game. Remax University doing the 2 classes a week. Nick was already, had just started the Monday, the morning, I say Monday morning wake up call, but the Tuesday morning show with Nick.
Right.
Just how quickly Remax had made the change. And really it was just, they kind of bred that culture.
Yep.
For everyone else to really just step above.
And they're really like stepping it up going forward, even with things that you really only did at the broker owner conference or at convention. Now the coaches corner is going to be via Zoom. I don't know. I don't remember if it's monthly or weekly. The first one is this week. That's going to be awesome. I mean, there's just been so many ways to connect with other agents and network, and Remax has embraced it, and you've embraced it, and Remax Elite has embraced it, that it is just a way to include people. And like Barbara just typed the word unity. That honestly that sums up what the opening ceremony was. Yeah.
And then even Dave, when he came on and his whole thing, I mean, I love the quote where it was like, you could be a cow just standing in the storm, or you could be that buffalo that runs through the storm. And that's, I completely lost it during that, because I felt there were so many buffaloes in that room.
Yep.
That totally made me lose it again, because we were, and I'm just so proud of us. I'm proud of every single person in that room who did go above and beyond, and just, we had no idea what we're doing, but we're just going to try it, and we've got to do something. And that's what we all did. And
yeah, for sure. And just a huge shout out to Pam Harris, who is
it would have been so easy for them just to say, we can't do this.
Yeah.
And they knew, like, we need that human connection. We're going to figure out a way. And the safety protocols they did, the speakers that came on, every single one of them was more than thrilled and just elated. And I loved what Jared James had said.
Yeah.
But and even Pitbull, I mean, what he had said, I mean, I listened to that over and over, being leaders and just doing something, even when it's so much easier just to say, nope, we can't. But they, the leadership team knew, like, we need this to happen, and we're going to figure out a way to do it. So they went, they moved it to Florida, followed every single protocol that there was. I know they would never serve, they wouldn't serve food, like for the awards, like you cannot be more than 6 people.
Yep.
At a table.
Right. Because normally people squish, if you have more people in your party, say you have 8 people, but the tables only sit 6, most people squish other people in. They were like, you can only have the amount of people at the table it's set for. You, when you get up from your table, wear your mask. It was really even in the restaurants in the hotel, and like you said, with the food trucks, which was genius idea. We've never had something like that at a convention, where they had the food trucks out front, they had tables. That was genius. It was too hot for us to be out there, but it, it was really.
I think most of us that are coming from the colder, it was like, oh.
I don't think I went to one bad class. Every class that I went to was really, really good and thought-provoking and learning. Like you said, Jared James was phenomenal. He might have just stolen the week. I mean, everybody on social is talking about how great he is. Your class that you did with Remax University, and again, the chairs were social distance, so you could only have however many. I think it was 30. Then there was people standing behind, and then I think you had 300 or more people watching.
Over 300 people watching it virtually. So that was awesome. And now I can also go back, and we have 90 days to watch every single class that we may have missed. So so that's what I'll be doing this week, is catching up on the classes.
I missed a good Jared James one, because by the time I registered for R4,
it was probably
full. So I'm going to go back and watch that.
And I got so many nuggets from his class, and how to leverage buyers the way we normally do our listings. Right now we definitely have more buyers, and so many unique ways to leverage the buyer aspect, because we certainly have more buyers than we do, listings out there.
Correct.
So many nuggets. So I have to go back. I mean, I know he's sending us all of the slides and stuff, but I have to go back and rewatch that. Didn't take as many notes, but there was so many wonderful takeaways from that class. And I missed his other class because it conflicted, but there was just so many great nuggets from all of the speakers, from opening all the way till the end session.
And we don't always go to the end session just because.
Well, usually it's like I can't even fill my brain with one more thought.
Right. But we went, and that was amazing as well. The gentleman, his name is Q. He's from
Alabama, I believe.
Oh my gosh, he's been in real estate 3 years now. Right? He is a rock star beyond rock star. And so he gave us, you posted it in our group. I have pictures of it.
The 4-point system, things you do every day. And one of his biggest tips is answer the damn phone.
Yep. Answer the damn phone. Or his other one, which I loved, help bag groceries when you're at the grocery store, because it's a good way to chat with people. So if you filled your grocery bags and you got them in your cart, help the next person and start chatting about real estate. And he, like he said, always wear either your pin or your t-shirt. You said the same thing in your class. Always have something on that's
stop being a secret agent.
Yeah, that is a conversation starter, and because that's making those connections and chit-chatting. Sometimes meeting somebody, at the Starbucks or at Publix, or it's much more comfortable for them to approach you and say something than, in a different type of setting, because they're comfortable. They're in a comfortable setting for themselves. So they might see your balloon on your shirt and say, oh, you sell real estate.
Well, and I just saw that post. I just saw someone post, they were wearing their Fun Run shirt. And they were jogging their neighborhood like they always do, but they happened to be wearing that shirt. Someone else was running and stopped them. They happened to be an agent from Kentucky, saw that, like, oh, you're real estate, I am too. So now they just made that connection to be referral partners. She's just doing her normal run, but happened to be wearing her Remax shirt from when they did the run in Orlando.
Let's talk about the networking.
Secret agent.
Let's talk about the networking. I have to say this convention was eye-opening to me in a way that I didn't really view networking before. So, we network at events, we meet other agents, but it's like, when am I going to ever refer somebody to Kentucky, right? So I've never been overly excited about the networking. Plus, and this will come as a shock, I'm very shy in those types of social situations. But it's not just networking for referral business. We have groups of women who are meeting weekly or monthly that are just masterminding together. We have groups of brokers that are doing it. We have it doesn't have to be groups of women, but part of the networking is that meeting people that may have similar styles to you, and you want to feed off each other and network off each other, because sometimes it's hard to do that. Hey, Donna. It's hard to do that with people in your own market. So when you have people from other offices, so I have this huge bag full of referrals.
I love that they took, since it was in Orlando, and I guess the Disney thing is you do the pin exchange. So that was what Esther came up with, is we're going to do pin exchange, which was so fun. That was so cool.
Fred's famous Texas barbecue rub.
I can't wait to try that. Thank you, Fred, for the rub.
Right. What else do I have? We got some sunglasses from Remax Southern in Griffin, Georgia.
Oh, we got so much swag. I know. Yes, Elizabeth Baker. That was, and she put everyone to work pre-conference. She put everyone to work getting all that together.
Yeah, so I have a bag full of pins that people designed.
And I love, so Esther came up with the idea is she will help create these pens for $100 donation to Children's Miracle Network hospitals. And they raised $5,200 from the people who they helped with these pens. That's the power of the brand coming together, having a fun pen exchange from all over. It gives us swag that we've never done this kind of thing before. But to raise over $5,000 for Children's Miracle Network hospitals, that was so incredible. And she's always thinking outside the box to help the kids. And I just absolutely love her for that. So she's like as crazy as Lacey.
Searle. I mean, it was so cool because normally it's
read the button from David Searle, because Adam even said that at opening, and I knew that was what David's button said. And it's an old quote from Dave Liniger.
This is a quote from Dave Liniger, and it's David Searle's button. But what's interesting, you can't see it, but around the back has David Searle's office information. But this is the quote from Dave Liniger: "If you want to play better golf, play with better golfers." And that is obviously, that's an analogy. If you want to be better at your business, play with the big dogs, play with the guys who are better. You know, you only get better if you're striving, you know.
And I know that's very similar to like what our office thing is, you know, eagles soar with eagles.
Right.
And it's just not that you have to be that eagle, but those that are striving to be, I mean, we try to breed that culture that helps every agent, no matter what level you're at, to be better at your game, because we help each other. So I love that quote. And it was just funny because that's like an old quote.
Yes.
From Dave Liniger. And then Adam happened to say it on stage, which was so true, because the culture they created by stepping up immediately when all of this hit to do all of these crazy things and amazing things that they were able to do. We all just, so many of us stepped out of our comfort zone to do the same, to kind of pay it forward and give value and all of that fun stuff. So that definitely, I mean, it didn't have to do with just real estate. It was about giving back and being the leaders in the industry and just pushing through whatever's going on. Yeah, absolutely. I love that quote. And
that's my cousin. He's a retired school principal, and
bless his heart.
And his wife, who's a retired school teacher, and their daughter is now a school teacher. I don't know what Jennifer was thinking. You would have thought, after learning from your parents on how difficult, well, I mean,
I went to school to be a teacher, and I decided,
they love their jobs, but I could never do it. I mean, especially, I think Jennifer's doing like middle school. Oh my gosh, it's like, crazy.
Pre-5th grade for me, and now I heard it's 4th grade, so pre-4th grade.
Right.
Once they hit that, forget it. I'm doomed. They're going to make me go home crying every day.
Yeah. Right. So anyway, so what are our top, and then the hybrid event, that was fun, because we had people who were holding stick heads of our friends that were not able to come. And we were getting texts and Facebook comments from our friends who were not able to come, who maybe were watching live, which that was.
And I love so one of the photos I had was of Sue Pinky Benson, and she wasn't able to be there. She hadn't had her shots yet. So she made it so fun being the hybrid. So she had no one knew that I was going to make those buttons. She happened to see that photo. So then she posted it, like, get a picture with my friend Heather and tag me in it, and she's going to send them a goodie. She did not have to do that. I just did it because I miss seeing that smiling face when I go to these events. So she made that whole hybrid experience so much fun, because people wanted to do selfies. They're tagging her with the photo, and that made it fun for those that weren't, that were virtual.
Right.
Going along with us, watching all of these shows, that made it bearable. I mean, I loved that it was a small event. It was almost like, I like the broker convention, the BOC, because it is a smaller, more intimate feeling to it. And R4 is just kind of crazy, full of energy. So it was almost like if the two had a baby, this was what that was. And I really liked the intimacy. It was, everybody kind of like able to be in one spot, whereas, it's just kind of all over. And some years I won't even see somebody at all throughout a whole week, even if,
even if you try to plan up. No, well, that was Maureen Houston, right? Maureen, yeah. So this is funny. She lives in, and I'm going to get it wrong. And if she's watching, she's going to kill me. I think she lives in Hilton Head, but she's from Long Island. She went to high school with a client of mine here in Melbourne, who her younger sister is my friend, but I've sold the whole family houses. And somehow, I think it was last year at the Remax convention, Ellen saw me posting and Maureen posting and like messaged us both and said, "Oh my God, you guys need to meet each other. You're both at R4." And Maureen and I never had the chance to meet last year. But this year we had the chance to meet in person because it was much smaller and it was much easier to network that way.
No, I enjoyed it. I mean, I missed the craziness of the regular, but this was so needed. It was amazing. And I know we kind of went over, the nuggets that we got.
Well, tell me what
more than even the nuggets. It was just being around people, because I've been so isolated and I haven't done all my trips to Florida because it's hard to go to Florida and not see my family. And I don't see my family because of, everything going on. And, only the week after I had the COVID, when I had the antibodies, I kind of felt like Superwoman. So I made my rounds to see my family.
Right. Oh, right.
But other than that, I haven't. And it's been such a hard year being isolated. It's like not even knowing how to act, but I needed that.
Do you have one top nugget that you can think?
To keep being that leader in this space, like with this show, the Thursdays, it's like it's a lot of work and it's not like I get paid to do those. So it's a lot of work and not knowing if what I'm doing even makes a difference, and going there and having people come up to me and thanking us for doing this show, for doing those Thursdays. For me, that means keep it going. I am making that difference. I am helping, because
that was one of the highlights of the whole event. I think one for you're always a rock star at these events because a lot of people know who you are, but now even more know who you are because of the Thursday classes that you're doing. But you were like the rock star central, people coming up to you, "Oh my God, I watch your Thursdays. Thank you so much." But then the highlight, and it might have been Donna who commented earlier, coming up to us and saying, "Oh my gosh, I watch you guys on the Monday morning wake up call." And we were like, "Yes, we've made it. We're famous."
I mean, it was cool in that because I mean, even prior to it's like, okay, I'm kind of burnt out, need a break. I don't even know if what I'm doing is helping anybody, but that solidified what I'm doing is helping, and to continue on, because it is making a difference. It was me.
It was Donna. Oh my gosh. I remember when she walked away and we looked at each other and we were like,
"Oh yeah, that's right. We do a Monday show."
People are watching us. We're not just doing it because we don't see each other anymore. We're not just doing this so we can spend time together. But my nugget, and I'm not really going to get the quote right, and so hopefully you'll remember it. But it was something that Dave Ramsey said, and it was, "The only way to get people to stop talking about you is to do nothing."
That's wrong because it's my quote of the week, which is.
You would think I should have read to the bottom of the page and I would have known that. Dang it! And it's from Aristotle. Oh my God.
Oh, I have it. I don't know if I can share, but. So there's only one way to avoid criticism: do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing. And that quote has completely resonated with me because we all have. It's so true, because we could have not done this. We could have not done the live, on Thursdays with the Remax tribe. Remax could have said, "No, we're not going to do this. We're not going to figure out a way to make us be able to do the convention the way you're comfortable doing it." And I know it took so much extra work to make it a hybrid, to make all the safety protocols, making sure to follow all the CDC guidelines. It would have been a lot easier to say, "You know what? This is going to be 100% virtual and we'll see you next year." It would have
Right.
been so much easier to do that. But definitely there's videos of even people talking about it, and what Jared James has said, 100% true. And even the workers. So when we were at lunch and we're talking with the waitress and the bartender,
That's right.
they were like almost in tears, so grateful that they could work again.
Yeah, that one gal that we had lunch in the I don't remember the name of the restaurant, Longitude and Latitude. And she came up to us and she said, "Are you guys going to be here next year for convention?" And we said, "Probably not. We'll probably be back in Las Vegas." And she goes, "I don't even want to go back and tell my coworkers that. We are so happy that you all are here. We are so happy to be working. We are so happy to have our jobs." That was another one of those moments of like, fill
Because
up.
you don't, it's being where we are and like, crazy or whatnot, you forget about. I mean, usually all these convention centers, I mean, we're in convention month normally. I mean, it's just back to back to back. A lot of these people, they've been on almost like a ghost, like employees, like the bartenders, like they're like, we haven't worked in 13 months. So
Right.
they were so grateful that we were there.
Yep.
Plus they say we tip very well.
Yeah, they said we know how to have fun. We're very nice, and we know how to tip. And I said, I think we tip well because we know that we are so lucky to be in an industry where it has not slowed down. It is actually 2020 was our best year ever in this time of COVID. And we are so lucky to be in an industry that has grown in 2020 when there are so many industries that have not, that I think we recognize that. And as a result, we all tip well, I mean,
Oh, well, and I tell my kids.
Well, I always tip well, but I think we all tip better now, right?
For sure. No, absolutely. Just because of that. But I don't know that I've ever spoken to somebody like firsthand on how much just not having the conventions, how much of that has affected that whole convention aspect of everything.
Yeah.
It was just insightful. So everything about the convention was amazing.
So since I talked ahead as usual, and then weekly activity is at all times be a positive influencer. And that can be really hard sometimes. It can when there's a lot of negative going around, but reach out to at least 5 people this week and share some positivity, share some love, whether it's in a phone call. I mean, voice to voice, it doesn't always have to be text or email. Pick up the phone and call 5 people in your life and just tell them how much you miss them and how much you love them. And then read the quote again, because it is just, I love this.
Yeah. So there's only one way to avoid criticism. One way to avoid criticism. That's to do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing, from Aristotle.
Yep.
A great way to end today's show. So until next week's all about business planning. We're doing a business planning checkup. Make sure that on our page,
business planning checkup. So get your business plan out, people. And
if you don't, we'll provide it in different links wherever we put everything, so that you can, do that whole checkup, because we want to make sure we are on path to reach our goals. But until then, wake up, kick ass, repeat.
Have a great week, everyone.
Bye.